I will cancel this meeting if everyone is going to be on no video. Come on.
Subscription, you could just give it a new one. Like if you kind of wanted to, so like when you do Evo and you call it representative things, you would
So,
give it whatever one unused. That's like kind of
looks like we've got about
like that actually
10,
support
12
companies
people
that
who's joining.
you manage the pool enough to like try not to put try not to set everybody on the same one.
Emily, I'm going to have to mute you. We had too much Berman noise in the background. All right. Still hoping Andrew Ehrman's start is able to join, but we can get started. I have to. All right. I'll try to be following the chat thread as best I can, and it looks like a few people are commenting in there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ben Edwards. I lead up the community development efforts here at Smart Things, and part of that is the developer and maker communities. Can you all hear me? Okay, good. So this is the very first time I've seen no one else on video. It is a little bit disconcerting to be speaking to a bunch of little icons of people. But I've got a few things I wanted to discuss in terms of some of the new stuff coming out of labs, the beta program of Smart Things, and then I wanted to kind of open it up to questions. I'll see how what the difficulty rating is on some of the questions, and I'll defer to some of the more technical folks and repeat the questions as well for those of you who are just listening and not following the chat thread. So the latest thing that is happening in labs is the advances in the Sonos integration. I wonder there seems to be an easy way to like ask a question to get like a raise of hands in here, but basically we're adding some new custom messages into Sonos. So I'm still getting a little feedback from Emily, I believe. Hold on a second, guys. So just type yes or whatever in the chat if you have Sonos working with your smart things, or if you just have Sonos in general. All right. I muted Langer. I think that was the other issue. Yeah, I don't even know how easy it's going to be to do this developer call at all with no one else on voice. It's really hard. So it looks like Jeff doesn't have Sonos. No Sonos for the other Jeff. All right. Well, that's been the bulk of it, and actually, some of the Smart Things use cases might make you get your wallets out for Sonos. It's kind of crazy how the utility of that expensive speaker actually is increased a lot by some of the things you can do with Smart Things. So I'm going to just ramble for a bit, and some of you might already know about it. But basically, responding to events via either a song or a pre-recorded message or a custom message that you just type in, and it'll speak it in a Siri-like voice. Also, being able to play, like dogs barking really loudly and really, it's realistically when, something, unexpected happens, like a door opens when you're not home, or, some sort of a break-in. And so there's just some interesting things. You guys may have seen some of that from our demo at the CES house in Vegas. But we've extended that a lot over the course of the last month. And that has been, one of the things we're working on in SmartThings Labs. Another thing, sort of just underway and not really out there for the masses quite yet, is some of the devices on Quirky. If you're familiar with Quirky, we've got they've got a Nimbus thing, which is a dashboard with little readouts for different various data points. Working on that integration. They have a pivot power outlet they have two varieties. One's the smart variety and one's regular. And the smart variety has two controllable outlets within the smart power strip. And that's very close to being done with the integration. What else? I mean, there's a ton of work, on a lot of the edges, locks and things like that. But, I'm totally willing to hear some of the questions you may have, and see if I can point you in the right direction to some answers. I wonder how many of you guys have the Android app, and how many of you have access to the new Android beta, which is very close to parity with the SmartThing with the iOS app. We as people are requesting it, and I would assume anyone on this call, if you want to request access to the Android beta, I would encourage you to do that. You can just sort of indicate here in the chat, and I can go through it and make sure I know all the right people. But that's hopefully only weeks away from being open to everyone in public. So it looks like some people have requested it, but have not gotten it. There is like a little bit of a queuing system that we're working on, but I'm hoping that it opens up in the next week to be a little bit more easy to get people involved. Look at that, Berman joined. I'm not the only weirdo with a camera.
Woo!
Okay, Brian's got a question about technical documentation. I re-raised this issue this morning. We've been trying to do it right and doing it with like a technical writer, trying to get a technical writer on staff. We have yet to get that person on staff. So we've been sort of punting on that a little bit. We are going to be working on Plan B if we can't get a document writer on staff soon, and that will be sort of reaching out to some of the people inside of our own community, internal to the company, maybe some people even external to the company, and seek out their help in writing some of the less documented parts of the documentation. Right now, all the documentation is in a little bit of rough shape, but specifically a lot of these newer integrations are not documented at all, and so we're definitely working on getting the Sonos, getting some of these lab features documented. So I don't know what to tell you on that. That's a big point of frustration for us, as well as folks in the community trying to write things. So I hear you, Brian. Now a question about sunset sunrise. Have you been using it for quite some time, Brian? And if so, have you tried uninstalling it and reinstalling things that use sunrise and sunset? Because I've used the dashboard setup. So you set it up through the dashboard with sunrise and sunset events, and I've had solid success, at least with sunset. I have a light that turns on at sunset every day. It doesn't seem like it's working, or it doesn't seem like it's working poorly at all I believe some of the old sunrise sunset methods. I don't know. I would have to see, and I'd have to defer to someone who's written more smart apps. But I don't think that has changed. But I
Okay.
I
think my mic is working. I don't know if you can hear me. So yeah, I heard about this and I thought that that's a lot more friendly as opposed to hitting an API every day by every person that has the app installed. So I use that, but I've been getting a lot of reports from people that are using my code on GitHub that they're having all these failures that I can't remember explicitly. I can look it up on my email what their errors were, but it's a little unexpected.
If you do just want to send me a email with what you posted in here plus what the people are seeing in their error messages, I can get it to the right person and get an answer to you very soon.
Okay. I haven't been able to reproduce it myself.
Okay. All right. Jeff has posted in the chat. It's kind of a long one talking about 3M thermostat. Let's see. They've been working on issues they've been having with their 3M50 thermostat. Has an open API, so they were discussing getting this added into SmartThings. Ermin has been involved. There he is. Speak of the devil. And Ermin, it sounds like your suggestions are over Jeff's head with regard to the Honeywell thermostat, and which I might point out that's probably the only time Ermin's suggestions have ever gone over someone's head. What?
Oh, poor Ermin.
So, yeah. I don't know. Ermin, do you want to take that one? Can you see that chat?
I'm looking at it now. Oh, right. So it's just a LAN device.
Talk, it wasn't working. Sorry. Weird. All right. Go ahead, Ermin. Sorry.
I have the thread open somewhere, but it's just a LAN device, right? You can talk to it over the local LAN. I think that's what I remember seeing. And you just sent docs, right? I have to look at them. Yeah, but I mean, it's just like it's just one of those like every other device, just a matter of priority. If we're gonna build it. Spam. Hold on. Sorry. I'm looking at the build right now, but I have to find it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just a thermostat, and it is. Oh, there you go. Yeah, the one Berman linked. I think it has if it has a local LAN, then something could be built for it, just using typical LAN calls, depending on what it does. I really can't say until I see the LAN docs.
Right. Are there other thermostats you know of that are close to being released, aside from the ones we've already sort of posted on the website?
Which ones did we post on the website?
I think we posted. Oh man, I don't know. There was 2 from Honeywell, or 1 from Honeywell, 1 from. Well, I don't know if that's the radio thermostat one that he just pointed at.
I'm trying to find the thread.
Wow.
Oh, here it is. Okay, yeah. So it looks like Jeremy was able to do some stuff with him. Query it. I guess, yeah, you could just do. Oh, look, there's a bunch of information in that string that he posted.
Yeah, that looks like it's probably fine. It's just a RESTful HTTP server with JSON, which is kind of a lot of the interfaces we're almost favoring at this point for web developers anyway. And I think we're kind of on the hook to do kind of a little demo of how to do a web-connected device as it starts anyway. So this might be something that would get segued to from our demo.
You're talking about local IP access?
Right. I think we're supposed to do a demo on just like how to do an HTTP like device type so that you could request these types of things.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's holding me up with doing a lot of stuff. Like I could hook up my TV and my PlayStation as soon as I have that.
Right. And I can like paste in just like how you do a post with the hub events as well, but I mean, it'd be a little bit nicer if it was like a more cohesive type of a discussion. I'm actually in process of drawing up like a demo document for LAN connected TCP HTTP servers.
Even if you had a paste bin, that would give me enough to at least get started, so I have something to go off of for the actual discussion. If you have something quick and handy that you could just post up that we could look at.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff like half in limbo here. But I think actually Dan Lieberman was going to line up another web conference to discuss this specifically. I don't know if it's better just to wait for that time, but I can post just a little chunk of things in there.
Yeah, either way, that's fine.
Here's a thermostat I'm working on.
That's the Pearl.
Yeah, how do I look at that?
Yeah, you can barely see it, but yeah. Oh, there you go.
Where's that glare coming from?
Yeah, you need a shade in there, my man.
Whatever. It's like the sun never shines in this freaking city, and all of a sudden it's out, and I don't want to like. It's actually staying dark past like 4, which is apparently a shocker for winter here. Meanwhile, Scott, who couldn't be on today because he's out of town. I just do this. You're in it now. Scott's in it now.
So Berman, can you hit up Lieberman, Dan again, and then copy me on the plans for that session you were talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it should be this week or early next week. But yeah, I'll definitely tie you guys in, and then I'm sure Dan is going to probably try to tie in quite a few more people since it is kind of a subject that it sounds like a lot of people have been asking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to like invite some people into that, and also make sure that it gets recorded and posted and things like that. So
you're saying I should shower, or make whoever is doing the demo shower?
Start now.
Yeah, Dirty Doug.
Ermin, before you joined, I was going through some of the newest labs stuff very briefly and very cursorily. Do you have any other insights in some of the things that are like on the cusp of labs? I talked a little bit about some quirky devices. What else?
What now? Just things that are going to be released in labs?
Well, I mean, do you have a better sense of like some of the next things coming out of labs, or even some of the like existing labs things that are being extended? I mean, we talked about Sonos extensions a bit.
I don't know. Like, so one of the things that we're finishing up in the next few weeks will be Ubi. Able to talk to. Hello, Ubi. And then you can do things like launch phrases, which I think is the easiest thing to do. Like, I'll never get used to like voice automated things, but sometimes they're super cool. Especially if I'm like in bed and I can just say like, okay, Ubi, good night. And then like everything turns off. My mode goes to night mode. Like it executes the phrase good night. That's super fun. You can also do like switches and things like that. And Ubi will also like do voice announcements. Like if the contact's open, I'll be like front door open. Stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah, I have yet to integrate Ubi with smart things in my house. In fact, I brought Ubi into the office now. But I should give it a try. So what else are people interested in hearing about? We've kind of gone through some of the things here. How do you spell Ubi? UBI. But I think their site is it the Ubi?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, theubi.com. They kickstarted right near the time we kickstarted, I believe. So I've been hoping to hear that some of the performance issues that we experienced in the weeks prior to last have been somewhat cleared up. Is Scott still on audio over there, Ermin?
Hold on. He is now.
Hold
on. I have to throw him under the bus real quick.
Let's not throwing him under the bus. I mean, I think there's been a lot of work done on the platform to help solidify a lot of those performance issues, and there's Scott. I don't know if do you want to address any of the specific actions we've been taking over the last couple of weeks on performance specifically?
Yeah, I mean the last couple of weeks things have been more stable. Specifically, we've been focused on a number of things, but isolating our different portions of our infrastructure a little bit better, so that when we see congestion or higher than normal throughput, it doesn't have the same knock-on effects upstream or downstream like we've seen in the past. Performance, stability, resiliency is something that's sort of an ongoing thing that we're trying to address. As we grow, just keeping an eye on overall capacity. So it's something that we're continuing to look at, but the last few weeks, or the last couple of weeks at least, I think we've been a lot more stable, and a lot of that is due to how we've been segmenting the workload and increasing capacity in the areas that need it most. I guess all of that sort of makes a lot of sense when you say it, but it's an iterative process, obviously. I don't know if that addresses. I didn't hear the exact question, so I hope that addresses.
He doesn't even know what the question was.
Yeah. Yeah, mostly it was just how are we doing on those sorts of stability issues.
Yeah, I mean we're continuing to focus on different areas. I don't think we've had any customer facing issues in the last couple of weeks, but prior to that we had a couple in the week just prior to that.
All right.
Got to admit, it's getting better.
Oh my!
It's getting better all the time. Can't get much worse.
So that works actually there. Yeah. Berman's having a side conversation about LAN connected things, but that's good that you were able to provide a little bit of something, a preview of the discussion that's impending. Adam, you joined. Nice to see you. Glad you're one of the brave ones with a camera.
Yeah, why doesn't anyone have a video chat on?
Maybe they're all at work and they're incognito. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm at work. I'm on video. It doesn't matter.
You're getting paid to be on video.
Wait, you guys pay people? This is a volunteer gig.
Ermin, you don't even have pants on. This is really awkward when he gets out of that frame.
Pants required : false. I just made a developer joke.
Did Adam or Brian, you guys just joined, did you have any specific topics that you wanted to
just following up on the latency issues, with the actioning things in the app and then it actually happening in real life. I find that the most common problem I find with that is when you're talking about dimmers. So in the app when you're trying to turn up the light, it takes a while. I don't know if that's like something to do like.
Well, the other problem I have with dimmers is that sometimes I'll turn it off, and when the light is turned off, it's triggering another action. And I'm wondering if the lag is causing some race condition where it's completely intermittent. It's like 50-50 if it's going to work.
Mm.
And so I don't know if that's internet latency that's causing a race condition that then it thinks it's already fired. I don't know. I've been struggling with dimmers for a while.
Thanks, by the way, for moving the app, the UI.
That got drowned out by something. What did you say, Adam?
I was just saying, like the changing the UI from an up and down dimmer to a left and right was a lot better because you'd end up going up and down, and the whole interface would like move up and down.
Yeah.
It was just really pain in the ass.
Yeah.
What was the question earlier about dimmers? I was plugging my headphones.
He's been experiencing some latency, in particular on some dimmer effects.
Go on.
Well, Adam
Like-
can go on.
Yeah, so basically, you were just talking about a minute ago about improving the system in terms of like responsiveness, in terms of like when you actually make something on the app and then it happening in real life. The only thing I've seen when we're talking about that is dimmers. So,
What are you saying in particular?
like you'll make a change to like the light, you want it brighter or whatever, and then like sometimes as worse as like 10 seconds, 20 seconds later it happens. And I used a few different dimmer, like Evolve are the best, like in terms of like actual dimmers. I found that the GE not as good, but it's kind of off and on. It's like sometimes it's instant, sometimes it takes like 10 seconds. So I would be more like when you guys enabling like the LAN system instead of having to go out into the cloud and then back. That's mainly my question, I think.
Well, we actually put a hard delay into the dimmer type for 5 seconds.
Okay.
Because so the way they work is some devices have a certain patent that they license where they can just stay their state when you do something to it, and some don't. So we have to wait for the dimmer to turn on fully, and then we have to pull it immediately. So we have a new firmware version that does it at the hardware level instead of waiting at the cloud level.
Right.
And we've taken it down from 5 minutes to 6 seconds, depending on how many devices you have on the network.
Mhm.
So I would be interested to see if we give you the new firmware, the Labs firmware, and see if it works much better, which I think it should, because I haven't seen 10 seconds is like unheard of. I think that was 10 seconds is what we were at when we had like really bad latency problems a few weeks ago. But
I would also be interested in this firmware for dimmers.
Yeah.
So it's the Labs firmware. Brian,
And
do you
how
know?
readily available is that? I mean, what has to happen for these guys to get that now? And I know we're planning on rolling that out very soon to everyone. But what about in the short?
They have to email support at smartthings.com and request Labs.
I'm a lab guy, so like I go in and I can see that I can access labs like stuff. So does that mean is there an additional thing on top of that, or
Well, did you
like I
request the Labs firmware? Like everyone can see the Labs category,
Yeah.
but they need to request the firmware first before they can actually do anything.
Well, when I add Sonos, it doesn't say you don't have
So you have Sonos?
access. So I think I do. Like I think I contacted Tyler and he said, yeah, I'll enable it.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so I have no clue why you'd be seeing that much latency. That's 10 seconds.
Maybe because I have so much stuff. Like I have a lot. I've just
How many Z-Wave switches do you have?
Right now, switches like including
Well, I guess
like
just in devices in general, Z-Wave devices.
probably in the range of like 30, 35, 40 almost.
That's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, and I have maybe 10, and I think I'm seeing about the same latency.
So you'll issue a command and you won't see it till 10 seconds later?
Well,
It
sometimes
was like a week ago. It was kind of bad, but now it's got a bit better. It's a bit better, yeah.
the normal latency for me is with the dimmer specifically is maybe 2 or 3 seconds, sometimes 4 or 5, but then sometimes it just doesn't happen at all. And that's what I'm thinking is there's some latency that's causing a race condition. It just dies. And it's pretty intermittent. It's like 50-50 chance if hitting my dimmer switch off is actually going to trigger the action I have associated with it.
Brian, do you have the same GE dimmers?
Yeah, it's like the Jasco.
Yeah, right. So when you turn it off, there's going to be a delay until that state gets set as off. But that's purposeful.
Right. That delay though, like the little blue light comes on to say that the switch is off. From that point, it's sometimes 15 seconds before a command is issued, and sometimes it just doesn't at all.
To me, I solved that by upgrading to the Evolves. The Evolves are way better. They don't hum. They don't have any as much latency. But I did see a little bit with the Evolves.
I wish you'd told me this before I bought all these Jasco switches.
Yeah, send them back to Amazon or wherever you bought them because they're really bad. They're not as good as the Evolves are way better. Like especially if you're using non-incandescent bulbs, if you're using LED, you don't get that weird off and on thing when you're trying to dim it. They're really good at regulating the voltage or whatever you call it.
And what was the brand that you suggested?
Evolve.
Also a company called Linear, which is, I believe, makes those.
The other question I have is kind of related to what you're talking about, how there's patents involved with some of this stuff. So technically, in terms of firmware, software, everything, there's no limitation. It's just that you can't add this functionality in a device controller because of patent issues?
No, it's actually the patent is in the device itself.
Okay.
So a company owns the ability to get state when it happens. So the way we get around it, and it's not like this is just this is industry standard. It's just you just have to pull the device. You have to ask it. And luckily,
I guess my question is this something that if I wanted to have this functionality in my home and I had the smarts to do it, would I be able to write a custom device controller to get around this patent issue for my own personal use, or is it something that's limited in the hardware?
It's something that's limited in the device's hardware, like in the switch's firmware.
Okay.
That's something that's there, yeah.
I see.
Because they'll set a notification if they turn on or off. But some switches license it, right? Like I think Leviton has their switches. It's why they're a little bit expensive, but the state on them is much quicker because they support. And then there are some switches that support something called association, which it can also help with things like that. But there's a bunch of cool. There's a bunch of cool ones, but honestly, that long of a delay is worrisome. I don't think you should ever see that.
And Brian, just to be clear, you also have Labs firmware. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right.
How far away are they from the hub? Are there like switches in between? Because that can sometimes cause some stuff too. Oh, and have you done a Z-Wave network repair?
I don't think I have done that.
You should do that. Both of you should do that, actually.
Basically, anytime you install any new Z-Wave devices that are plugged or powered, I would do the Z-Wave repair.
How do I go about doing that?
It's in the iOS app, and it's also in Graph.
It's not in the iOS app now, Ermin, is it?
I think so.
I wish it was. I don't believe it is. If you go into the IDE site, the graph.api, smartthings.com, there is if you go through your hub there's Z-Wave utilities, and one of them is Z-Wave network repair, and you just click that and it does it. It'll even do this little weird graphy thing. And
no, you're thinking two different things.
No, that's the right thing.
No, it's not.
All right.
I will prove one of you wrong right now.
Do it.
So if you go to your network, if you go to the hubs page, then you click on View Utilities, and you do Repair Z-Wave Network. It'll do all it's going to say is Z-Wave Network Repair initiated. And then in the logs, it'll say repair started. and then when it's done, you'll have to refresh it. Unfortunately, it'll say repair ended.
All right, I am initiating a hub repair here.
And if you have a lot of devices, that might take like 10 minutes, Ermin?
No, it shouldn't take that long. I think it'll take if you have 10 to 30 devices, it'll probably take 5 minutes.
Yeah, but if you have 60 to more devices, it could take longer.
Yeah, if you have a lot of devices.
Alex was talking about his taking 10 minutes.
Yeah, Alex has 200 devices.
I do not have 1,000 devices.
Why not?
But
I'm poor now.
Casual.
Wow, they've added some new features since last I looked at the utilities. Presence timeout, ping hub, disconnect hub, reboot hub.
Booyah.
Bunch of cool stuff there. You have to have the labs firmware for it, I think.
So what's the thing that does that visual thing, Ermin?
That's a view graph. That's for Zigbee. You can see which Zigbee devices are paired through which routers.
Where do I find that?
It's right under View Utilities.
Yeah, instead of View Utilities, you do View Graph, right? Okay.
So it's cool. It'll graph what's your Zigbee devices and if they're paired through routers and which routers they're paired through. It's pretty neat. It's funny if you have
with your children.
I tried it on someone's account who has 200, 300 200 devices. I think it was Jeff's or something. It blew up to this thing like this.
Hey Orman.
Yeah.
Have you installed one of these or use one of these? It's the Evolve.
Aeon multi-sensor.
The
Aeon.
Ezotech or whatever.
Yeah, Aeon multi-sensor.
It doesn't want to even pair at all. I know this is really not tech support here, but I just.
Those are Champ devices. We've used them for a long time. I love them. They're one of my favorites.
I was gonna send it back and get because I find the one that you guys sell better, or this doesn't even want to pair.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have about 3 of those devices, and I've had 1 out of 3 just be very stubborn with pairing. I'm assuming you've done all the stuff where you take the batteries out, put them back in, go through the whole pairing process, because it can be a little frustrating because usually those devices are pretty solid, like Ermin was saying.
Okay. So just be just go. Just be really.
Every time I try to repair that thing, I will. I mean, so for one, it's Z-Wave, so you have to make sure that it was never joined to a network or that you excluded it. And then 2, go through the entire process where you take the batteries out, put them in, long press to factory reset, I think, and then just keep trying it. And yeah, if you keep having a problem, I would say return it, even for a different one of that. I mean, the good thing about that over our multi-sensor is it's got humidity and luminance. But you're right. I mean, I have our own multi-sensors everywhere, and that one I only have in a few locations where I think luminance is important.
I think for me, the build quality on the Azotech, or whatever you call this brand, isn't as nice as what you guys have created with smart one, the smart whatever it's called, the sensor. I find the build quality is just a bit nicer.
Yeah, that one in particular, and I think Aeon has coming out with some pretty nice looking devices. I haven't seen all of them and felt them about the build quality, but in general, we don't feel bad about referring people to Aeon devices. But yeah, that one in particular is a little bit weird, but it is definitely one of the first ones we ever worked with, probably way back to spring of 2012. So.
Have you put it outside before, or just indoors?
Yeah, no. Most of the ones that I have are outdoors.
I'm in Canada and it gets minus 20 something Celsius. So
yeah, we've had them in Minnesota, and I think the worst part about that is just the battery life. will go down if it gets really cold. But then if it warms up, like in the afternoon, it comes back. And so, yeah, I think that's the toughest part. You just have to be ready to like exchange the batteries more often.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a few of them outside and one in my garage, and had no issue with them whatsoever with temperature.
Really, even lately?
Yeah, I mean, I've had nothing fail due to temperature, which even like minus 20 Fahrenheit. But I think if you take that one and put it closer to your hub when you're doing the exclude or when you're trying to add it, it might help out a little bit too, because I think that one was a little bit finicky. Like if it goes through a router, I've had it act a little bit strange myself.
Cool. One last question before I just stop bugging you guys. What's the integration with this going to be like? Like I haven't even dared to open it up because there's just so much bad press on it. Like it doesn't even work, or like it's just really, really alpha. So,
Ermin, do you have one of those in the Minneapolis office?
Yeah, we have 2 of them.
Any progress on it?
Nope. We're waiting on some API calls from them, and we've had some problems with the camera.
We also have is it the Skybell? We have at least one of those around that we were looking at integrating, but in fact, I think Alex bought the first Skybell from the Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign, but we have yet to integrate that either. It's a use case that we want, though. We think I think it's a good use case. We've got so many other devices we're working on.
Well, with the fact that, unfortunately right now, Dropcam doesn't have an outside enclosure, like it's really the only like the Skybell or the Doorbot or some other proprietary system, like there's not really a lot out there really.
Right.
We're working on Fozcam right now, which I think has some outdoor versions.
Yeah. Fozcam? Okay. Cool.
Does anyone have a link to that Monoprice multi-sensor? I saw it before, but now I can't find it.
Monoprice.com?
Yeah, I looked there. Surprisingly, couldn't find it. What else? We've got 15 more minutes. We can talk about whatever we want. Who has been writing their own smart apps? Has anyone been writing?
Raise your hands.
Raise your hands. Thanks, Jeff, for that link.
My camera doesn't work, but I'm raising my hand.
Nice. All right, Jeff from Calgary as well has been doing that. Impliciter asks, what about IR control? What have people been using? One of the things in labs right now, and I know we've been hitting labs topics hard, but is the Logitech Harmony.
Right, but it's not in labs right now.
Well, it's not in labs like as in available. It's coming. Let's say. We did a year plus ago. Danny did a IR controller with an Arduino shield, but we haven't done anything as far as like productizing that or finding a third-party device yet that I know of.
Well, the Logitech Harmony will do that.
Yeah, but that's an expensive IR blaster. I mean, you could probably, probably people in this call could make an IR blaster for a lot less than a Harmony remote.
How much are they?
100 plus. What Impliciter, what kind of things are you interested in doing with IR control?
For my needs, at least, what I've been trying to do with IR Blaster, I was able to do by other means. So, like my TV has an open WebSocket, Samsung does.
Nice.
Panasonic has a REST API built in. LG has a REST API built in. So, if you have a smart TV, you're almost certainly able to control it just through TCP/IP. And that's what I've been waiting for, local IP access. it's a pain in the ass because they have their own authentication methods. You kind of have to hack apart, but it's not super difficult. And then my PlayStation, I just made my Raspberry Pi. I spoofed the Bluetooth MAC address of one of my controllers, so it thinks it's a PlayStation controller.
Isn't it like Bluetooth notoriously easy to spoof?
Yeah. And yeah, turning a TV on is apparently really difficult because they rarely have wake on LAN. So that's the one problem I have. So I use my PlayStation for a CEC device to turn my TV on because I can issue the Bluetooth command to the PlayStation that turns the TV on.
Does Vizio have anything for that? I have a Vizio TV.
I've looked into Vizio. I think there is, but I haven't looked too closely.
Oh, that's interesting, Adam. That's a good idea.
I love pushover. It works really well. So
yeah, I've been seeing a lot of talk about that and some pushover integrations. I admit I have not looked into it. What else? Brian, what's your last name?
My last name's Johnson.
All right. Just trying to keep track of folks on here. It's hard. Everyone's anonymous. All right. Yeah. Cool. I don't know. There are a few phone numbers dialed in as well. What else? So, Ermin, I'm going to be seeing you tomorrow. You ready to make the quadcopter smart thing?
No, but I'm ready to take it home with me and play around with it.
I don't think we should let you because I think you're going to break stuff in the Minneapolis office.
Aren't they not even like legal to fly in DC?
I don't even think you should bring it.
What do you mean bring it? I'm taking it.
Bring it back. Yeah, I know. Bring it back.
Yeah. No. I want the toys. Scott and I want to play with it. Right? Don't you want to play with the quadcopter?
I heard of somebody landing an AR drone on top of a federal building of some kind. And the only reason they got it back was because it was a commercial device. If they had homebrewed it, they would have like gone to jail. Apparently,
yeah, been arrested.
Yeah. So apparently, there's a distinction there.
Is it technically a commercial device if it's ours?
Are you selling it?
Good. You want to buy it?
I think they measure that on your marketing budget.
The $20 bill that I get, you mean? My lunch money?
So one thing I want to announce for everyone that's here, also thank everyone for joining, is that we are trying to move these to a every other week sort of event, and we're also hoping to basically take suggestions from you guys as to topics we'd like to cover. We'll also have a better agenda for things that we'll sort of try to distribute beforehand via the blog, the Build blog, and whatnot. In the off weeks, we're going to be sending updates to folks who want that, to the developer network, to say, hey, these are the things that are going on, and sort of just a better like summary of the things in the last couple of weeks that have happened. So we're trying to get better at doing that and having these events that you can count on each other week. I'm surprised Todd didn't show up. Todd's usually good for showing up on these. Maybe he's too busy working on quirky devices.
Before we go, I just do want to say that I have noticed that like the quality of the actual just basically, when you do send commands to it, it's getting much better, and the app updates that with each update, it's getting better. Like the UI looks a lot easier to use. It's not crashing all the time. Like you guys are going in the right direction. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, Adam, stop it.
Okay.
You're not
I'm
going
assuming you're
down.
talking about iOS, because if you're an Android user, you'd still be like, "Where's the Android?" We did just hire another Android developer, so I wouldn't. I think the pace will still be quickening there, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's totally against my plans. I was hoping to make everything suck more.
You seem to be doing a good job of that.
Yeah, I'm failing at my primary responsibility.
That's funny.
Look at those. So yeah, someone just sent around a link about Canadian tech. That's
you guys should reach out to AR Tech because they're huge in the home automation, like in Canada at least, and see if they can become a partner or at least try and get some. I don't know how you guys are getting on with Amazon Canada integration because we sure don't love paying all those custom fees.
Oh, so like every time you have to ship something from Amazon, you got more fees, whereas if we were able to distribute in this store, you wouldn't have to?
Exactly, because it would come from drop ships from Canada, or sometimes they even have arrangements with like Canadian customs that you don't have to pay the customs fees because it's coming from a Canadian, like the Canadian version of Amazon, if you want to call it.
Yeah. A lot of the usual suspects are in there. It looks like a lot of the same devices and whatever. The Evolve Z-Wave switches, are those the ones that you press them down both like to turn it on and to turn it off?
Yeah, you press it up to Well, you can't turn it off if you go up.
Oh, so off. So it works normally, like where you click up and it turns it on and off to go down.
Yeah.
Okay. The Leviton.
It doesn't have scenes though. I thought it might have like a scene setting, like you press it twice and it does one thing. And I don't know.
There's a smart app for that. Just just do that.
Yeah.
Double tap, triple tap. You can have any sort of.
I tried it, but it didn't work for me. I don't know why.
That's like my favorite thing. It's like repurpose a physical device to do something that it wasn't meant to do, and so I'll have like one tap up turns on my kitchen lights, and two taps up turns on like all my lights in my living room and dining room and kitchen.
Double tap will work. If double tap will only work if the switch is paired directly to the hub and not through a router.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is super annoying. Because how's an average person supposed to know that?
They're not. That's why we want to get rid of it.
My wife wants because at night we turn it to like good night, and then it basically locks the doors, does all the rest of it, right? She wants a button instead of having to find her phone. She just wants a button, the double tap thing would work. Now that in our bedroom we have but it doesn't work. So
how about a Jawbone Up 24 or a Pebble? Or just a button?
I just bought a Fitbit, so I can't be bothered.
Which Fitbit?
It's a Flex. It's not.
That's on the list. That's on the list.
Oh, is it?
And then the Aeon makes a button too that we're integrating with too. The panic button.
Yeah, panic button, mini mode, whatever the key fob is with 4 buttons on it.
Yeah.
I think there's also a few more that are coming out that are Zigbee as well.
Oh, you could use actually is I've hacked SmartSense multi-sensor into a doorbell, like a little doorbell thing.
You did that one? I thought Danny did that.
No.
How did the button click work? Did it just like vibrate it?
No. It pretended to be it faked a magnet in there.
Oh, okay.
So
we have that in DC.
Nice.
See, I live in a condo and I can't have a doorbell, so I have the multi-detect the knock, and then it sends me a message because the door's all the way on the other side of the house.
Oh,
Nice. I should do that.
So, Ben, I didn't really hear the follow up for like getting more adoption in Canada in terms of like getting a distributor in Canada. Like, is there any efforts in that area for Canada?
I'll have to review what our current agreement is with Amazon. I think through last year we had an exclusive deal online with them, and I just want to review. I know that we extended it. I want to review both the term of that and like if it's international or just United States before we could like really move on it. But I mean, we have a lot of discussions with different partnerships and distribution channels, and so I wouldn't be surprised if there was something in the works. That's not really the thing I focus on, but I could follow up on that.
Yeah, I'd love to know because like I want to keep buying stuff, so it does prevent me from.
All right.
Not just for me, but like Canadian. I don't know about Canadian. I think Canadians, they are a lot, techie. Like the people I know, anyways. Like they're super techie. Like,
all right.
So I'm sure they would love it.
Cool. Anyone have a last volley of questions? All right. Well, did you see Ermin? Jeff asked about the Fitbit One. Is that on the list?
Yeah, I think the issue right now with Fitbit is why it's being not like finished yet. Is they use a different API authentication than we do. They use an older one, and we use a newer one. So we have to figure out how to get through that well first. But I wouldn't. I bet they're not even different. Like once it's done.
Right. I see that Lee just joined. I don't want him to be all disappointed in a couple minutes when we all disband. Lee, did you have some questions that you had, burning in you that you wanted to get us to address in the last couple minutes of the office hour?
I don't even think he's fully joined yet.
No, I just did all that for nothing.
Yeah.
Well, there he's joined. Hi, Lee. How's it going? We're only on the call for another few minutes, but if you had some quick question for us, we would love to have it. All right. Well, I'll post the office hour recording, as riveting as it was, to the build site and to YouTube, I believe. And post your suggestions in the comments. If you over the next couple of weeks of things you'd like to have us address, we can come prepared with some more materials, links, and things like that. It'd be good to get a little bit more rigor around these events, even though I like just having them freeform as well for part of it. Question. All right. Well, sounds good. Thank you all for joining. Stay active on the build site and keep helping each other out. Thanks.
Thanks.